You already know about the gorilla. Someone told you about it, or you saw it shared online. A group of people passing a basketball, a gorilla walks right through the middle, and half the viewers completely miss it. It's a fun story. You probably think you'd catch it, and honestly, you probably would. But let's try something. I'm going to play you a video. Same setup, people passing a basketball. Your job is simple. Count the passes made by the players in white. That's it. Ready? All right, how many passes did you count? Now, most of you probably spotted the gorilla this time. You knew it was coming, and sure enough, there it was. But here's my actual question. Did you notice the curtain in the background change color? Or that one of the players in black quietly left the scene and never came back? If you missed those, you're not alone. Most people do. And that's exactly the point. You were so focused on not being fooled by the gorilla that your brain shut out everything else. Knowing about the trick didn't protect you. It actually made you more blind. This is called inattentional blindness, your brain's way of filtering out what it thinks you don't need. And it goes way deeper than basketballs and gorillas. It affects doctors reading your scans, drivers on the road next to you, security screeners at airports. And in our modern world, where everything is fighting for your attention at once, it might be getting worse. In 1999, two cognitive psychologists, Daniel Simons and Christopher Chabris, were curious about something that sounds almost too simple to study. Do people actually see what's right in front of them? To find out, they recorded a short video. 6 people, 3 in white shirts, 3 in black, passing basketballs back and forth. They asked viewers to count the passes made by the players in white. Simple enough. But about halfway through the video, a person in a full gorilla suit walked into the center of the frame, stopped, faced the camera, beat their chest, then walked off. 9 full seconds. When the participants were asked afterward, roughly half of them had absolutely no idea the gorilla was ever there. Not a vague sense that something happened, nothing. Complete erasure. Now, when you first hear this, it sounds like a flaw, like something's broken. But it's actually the opposite. Your brain takes in roughly 11 million pieces of sensory information every second. But your conscious mind? It can process about 40. That's it. So your brain has to make choices, constantly, automatically, without asking you, about what makes the cut and what gets thrown away. When you were counting those passes, your brain decided that the gorilla wasn't relevant, so it simply removed it. You didn't see what was there. You saw what your brain decided mattered. So you already saw what happened in the second experiment, the one at the beginning of this video. But let's talk about why it matters. After the original experiment went viral, Simons and Chabris had a problem. Everyone knew about the gorilla. It was in textbooks, TED Talks, shared millions of times online. So they designed a follow-up they called the monkey business illusion. Same setup, but this time, while the gorilla walked through, which nearly everyone caught, the curtain in the background slowly changed from red to gold, and one of the players quietly exited the scene. And as you probably experienced firsthand a few minutes ago, most people completely missed both. Simons had a name for this. He called it the illusion of attention. It's the belief that because you caught the obvious thing, you must be seeing everything. You feel like you're paying attention. You feel sharp, aware, on top of things. But that feeling itself is the trap. Your attention isn't just limited, it's quietly overconfident. And the more certain you are that you're seeing the full picture, the more likely it is that something important is slipping right past you. Now, If this were just a clever lab trick with basketballs and gorillas, it would be a great conversation starter and not much else. But inattentional blindness shows up in places where the consequences are real. In 2013, a team of researchers at Brigham and Women's Hospital ran a study that honestly sounds made up. They asked 24 experienced radiologists to examine CT scans and look for lung nodules. Standard stuff, exactly what these doctors do every day. But the researchers hid something in one of the scans: a gorilla. An image of a gorilla placed right there in the lung, 48 times the size of an average nodule. 83% of the radiologists missed it. And here's the part that really gets you. Eye tracking showed that most of them looked directly at it. Their eyes passed over the gorilla multiple times. They just didn't see it. These are trained professionals, people who spend their careers finding things in images. And when something was there that they weren't expecting, their brains treated it like it didn't exist. And it's not just medicine. On the road, there's a phrase accident investigators use: looked but failed to see. It's what happens when a driver checks their mirror, looks directly at a motorcycle or a cyclist, and pulls out anyway. They're not lying when they say they didn't see them. Their brain was looking for car-shaped things, and anything that didn't fit that template got filtered out. At airports, security screeners who focus intensely on one type of threat tend to miss others. When you're looking hard for one thing, your brain narrows the filter, and everything outside that filter becomes invisible. This is the thing about inattentional blindness that makes it so fascinating and so unsettling at the same time. It's not that people are careless. It's not that they're not trying. In most cases, they're trying really hard. The problem is that trying hard at one thing is exactly what makes you blind to another. So here's something worth thinking about. The original experiment was done in 1999. No smartphones, no social media, no notifications buzzing in your pocket every few minutes. People were just sitting in a room, watching a video, doing one thing. And even then, under those calm, focused conditions, half of them missed a gorilla. Now think about today. The average person interacts with their phone well over 100 times a day. We bounce between apps, conversations, tabs, and tasks constantly. Our attention isn't focused on one thing anymore. It's spread across dozens. Every time you switch from one thing to another, your brain has to rebuild its attention filter from scratch. And every one of those transitions is a moment where something can slip through without you ever noticing. We don't have a solid study yet that repeats the gorilla experiment with modern levels of distraction, but the underlying science points in a pretty clear direction. The more fragmented your attention, the wider the gaps in what you actually perceive. And the tricky part is, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like you're keeping up. It feels like you're seeing everything, catching everything, handling everything. That's the illusion of attention, working in real time, every day. You're probably not missing gorillas, but you might be missing a change in someone's tone of voice, a look on a friend's face, the car that just entered your blind spot. The small things that, when you add them up, turn out not to be small at all. The gorilla experiment taught us something simple but kind of humbling. We're not as aware as we think we are. Not because we're lazy or careless, but because our brains were never designed to catch everything. They were designed to prioritize. And sometimes what gets cut is exactly what we needed to see. And this is just one experiment. This is the first of 20 episodes where we're exploring the psychology experiments that changed how we understand the human mind. If this one made you rethink how your attention works, the next 19 are going to challenge a lot more than that. Speaking of which, imagine this. You're sitting in a small room. There's a man on the other side of a wall. You've never met him. A person in a lab coat tells you to press a button that delivers an electric shock to that man. You hear him scream. He begs you to stop. The person in the lab coat calmly says, "Please continue. The experiment requires that you continue." You want to stop. Every part of you wants to stop. But you press the button again and again, all the way up to what you're told is 450 volts, a dose that could kill. This isn't a movie. It's a real experiment. and 65% of people did exactly that. That's next time on Psycle. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you there.